we're going to the kitchen with Lucy Greer, who's making pumpkin orzo risotto.
Oh,
I got it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I like that little twang to it.
Too.
Gianni, Lucy's live with us. It's good to see you, my friend.
Me too. I'm so glad you're back.
Thank you. It's been a minute since I've seen my girl Lucy, and so I'm excited to eat your food. I missed you as always too.
Thank you.
You're making something festive.
Yes. Speaking of the holidays, so during October, I always like to share pumpkin recipes, and they don't have to just be sweet. They can be savory as well. So today we are making our, like we already said, our pumpkin risotto, orzo risotto.
Yeah.
So already I just have 3 tablespoons of butter in this skillet, so I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. So we're going to get that melted, and I have a few sprigs of fresh rosemary, so I'm going to pop this in and let that start flavoring our butter. And I'm also going to go ahead and add our, looks like about half a cup of yellow onion that I just finely chopped. So I'm going to keep this over medium heat, and it's going to take about 10 minutes or so for these onions to get really, really soft and translucent. So this will be the flavor base for our dish here.
Yum. Okay, what do you have planned for, have you made anything sweet during the month of October?
Okay, yes, we have done pumpkin bread.
Yum.
And I think that's it. Is this our only second week in October? I think it is.
I think so.
So yes, we did sweet, savory. So I don't know what else I'm going to do this month, but I always like to start off with pumpkin bread because it's such a hit, and it has that streusel topping on it. So so we started out with that, and this one is nice because it's so simple, and usually, like I said, I'm calling it orzo risotto because risotto is usually use arborio rice, and it's a short grain rice, and you slowly add liquid to it, and you stir, and it releases the starch. Orzo is going to do a little bit of the same thing, but it's not going to release as much starch. It's just a short grain pasta. So instead of using rice, we're using this orzo pasta, and it's still, we're just going to cook it the same way. It's the same cooking method. We're going to get our chicken broth in this pot and get it hot, so it's hot when it's ready to when our orzo is ready for us to start adding it.
Perfect, and there you see all the ingredients on the screen. Before we go real quick, we want to talk about Greer's. Of course, you guys have so much going on this month. Pumpkins, everything in between. If you want to make something or carve something.
Yes, and a lot of schools, you know, I know at one of our kids' schools they do pumpkin contests. So you know, everybody has to bring candy too. So we have pumpkins out, and mums, the front of the stores look so pretty, and all the Halloween candy out, which is great. And one tip I will give you,
get it now.
As Scotty gets older, no. Whatever you do, do not buy the first Halloween costume that she says she wants, because she's going to change her mind.
How many have you bought?
Not this year. I learned early on. So I'm like constantly asking, like, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And it's like when they say it like 5 or so more times, I'm like, okay, then I'll get the costume. So whatever you do, don't buy her costume the first thing she says.
Okay, do you have the costumes confirmed? If so, I'm going to ask you about them.
No, I do not. Well, fairy. Elle wants to be a fairy. I know that. And Jack wants to be a magician. Cute. I'm like, what? But I don't know about the others.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Lucy and her kids, hopefully they come up with a solution here pretty soon, as Halloween is approaching pretty quickly here. We're going to continue this orzo risotto with Lucy coming up. Gianni.
Awesome. We're back in the kitchen with Lucy Greer. We're making delicious pumpkin orzo risotto. And Lucy, it's my first time in the kitchen with you. I'm so excited.
I know. I'm glad that you're here.
Yes, I'm honored to be here with you. So before we left off, we had put some delicious onions and some butter, and we cooked that up, right?
Yes, we did.
What's the next step?
The next step is we are going to add in, this is 1.5 cups of orzo pasta. It's not cooked, so it's just right out of the bag. And we're also going to add in our spices. So I have some salt and pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and our pumpkin pie spice.
The essentials.
The essentials. That's right. You don't have to get too many complicated things.
Yeah,
and this,
very easy.
you know, and this recipe has very few ingredients, and it's going to have a lot of flavor. So I'm just going to make sure our heat is up. And at this point, we just want to toast the orzo. So we want to keep an eye on it. It's not something you want to walk away from.
Definitely.
And you can just see I'm just coating it and making sure that all of it's coated in that butter, and we put some fresh rosemary in there, so that is, you know, all that flavor is already out into our oil, and we can actually just take that out. And so if some of the, you know, the leaves fell off, that's totally fine. And of course, you could have just taken it off and chopped it up, but This is just kind of a little bit of time saver, and we still got our flavor out of it anyway.
It smells delicious. And just in case someone missed it, what is orzo?
Oh, good question. So orzo is a pasta. So it is it looks like rice. It's a very short grain pasta, and I'm calling it, and risotto is a dish that's made with arborio rice. So that's a rice. So I'm calling it orzo pasta because we are using orzo to make it, but we are using the cooking method of making risotto. And so the method is what we've already done. Sweated out some onions with some butter, added in our rice, but we're using pasta. Just get it coated, and then in this pot we have chicken broth, and I heated it up. It's 3.5 cups, and we are going to slowly add a ladle at a time, and we are going to stir it until that absorbs.
Okay, perfect.
And then it is going to become nice and creamy, and it's gonna slowly cook. And this is, like I said, the exact same way that you make risotto. And you could also do the same recipe and use arborio rice if you'd like. You would do the exact same thing. So as you can see, it's starting to absorb. So we're just going to do that same process and do a ladle at a time and just keep stirring. And this would really be something great for your kids to help with. You know, if they're a little bit older, where they can be, you know, at the stovetop, because it does require, you know, a bit of stirring. So if you were in the kitchen with them, this would be something fun for them to do because it's a lot of action. You know, you're moving liquid like this, and you're stirring. So
like you said, it's easy. And I'm not a great cook, so this definitely looks like something that I could do.
Yes, you would definitely be great at this.
And we can get all these ingredients at Greer's, correct?
Yes, you can, and you can go in the stores, of course, and shop. You can shop online. We have free curbside pickup, and we also have delivery options. And we're actually kicking off another curbside pickup store in Van Cleve, Mississippi. We've been working on that store, remodeling and expanded the store, and so it'll be one more store that you can shop online.
That is awesome. Super easy. Get the ingredients super easy. Can make it very quick for a family.
Yes.
Definitely a great recipe. It just smells delicious. All the fumes are just smelling it. All right, perfect. So I guess we'll go ahead and check back in. We're going to add some pumpkin later
the last
on, right?
things, as soon as all of this liquid absorbs, we're going to add our pumpkin puree, and we're also going to add a little bit of goat cheese, and so it's going to be
even
super creamy.
creamier.
Yes, and definitely good for hopefully some of these cooler nights that will hopefully coming soon.
Hopefully coming. Today was not so cold. I walked out and I said, I think I'm wearing the wrong outfit for today.
Well, it's a beautiful color though. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Lucy. All right, so we'll go ahead and check back in with you with that pumpkin and that goat cheese later on.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to Studio 10. We're live with Lucy this morning, and we're talking about a pumpkin orzo risotto.
We are. It smells really good, and we're at the end of our process here.
Right.
So we started out with a little bit of butter and some fresh rosemary, and we softened half a cup of onion in there, and then we added 1.5 cups of our orzo pasta, and I just put the last ladle of chicken broth in here. So ladle by ladle, we added our chicken broth, and after each ladle we stirred and made sure that all of the liquid was absorbed. And so now the orzo is cooked through, and it's time to add our last few ingredients. Oh, and then we added a little bit of pumpkin pie spice and some salt and pepper.
I was about to say, I smell something.
Yeah, do you smell that?
Yeah.
And a little bit of cayenne pepper. So just a little, just a touch of heat. So now we're going to add our pumpkin puree. And this is half a cup, and this is just the pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling. So there's no sweet in here. This is a savory dish. And I'm also going to add 2 ounces, which is just half of this little log here, of goat cheese.
Why the goat cheese? Is it just a creamier
and
cheese?
it adds just a great flavor in here. It goes great with the pumpkin, but if you are not a goat cheese fan, you could certainly just omit this, or you could sub a little bit of cream cheese in here too.
Yeah.
Or Parmesan cheese. Typically, you add a little bit of Parmesan cheese at the end of a risotto dish, but I thought that the goat cheese would be really good with that pumpkin. And then you just get this melted and it is ready to eat.
This is delicious. Now, of course, risotto is typically served as a side, but could you add a meat in here to make it more of a full pasta dish?
Absolutely. You could, and I was thinking too, you could add a lot of vegetables. I make a risotto dish that's full of veggies and it's so good and colorful. You could add veggies to this, and you could certainly, chicken would be really good with this, or really any protein. And like you said, you could definitely have it as a side dish too. Yeah. And it's best if you, you know, if you go ahead and eat it while it's hot, but if it ends up where you can't eat right then, and when it cools, it's going to start to thicken up. So if something happens, it's totally fine. Just add a little bit of water to it, or if you have any chicken broth left, do that, and it'll loosen right back up for you. Yeah. So, or if you have any leftovers and you put it in the fridge, the next morning, you know, it's going to be solid. Right.
You made that one last night and it looks great.
Yes, already. Yes. So I heat it, you know, add a little bit of water and put it in the microwave when I got here. And so don't worry, you can always thin it back out. So it is ready to eat.
Yum. It looks and smells delicious. If you want to try it, we're going to have this recipe on our website later on throughout the show. Lucy's going to be back every Wednesday of this month with a different pumpkin dish, right?
Yes. So I will have to be thinking about what to do next. I'm not sure.
All right. Next Wednesday, stay tuned. Make sure you visit your local Greers. Of course, you can go ahead and visit their website for more information. Lucy, thank you.